let's dive into Terraform security. You're building all this amazing infrastructure with Terraform, right? But how do you make sure it's really secure?
Well, that's where security scanning comes in.
Exactly, yeah. And today, we're going to really dig deep into three tools, that act like a security pro. Looking over your shoulder, Checkov, tfsec, and Terrascan.
You can think of them as your first line of defense, really, catching those little vulnerabilities before they turn into big headaches later on down the line.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And to help us navigate this whole world of IAC security we have an amazing expert here with us.
Happy to be here.
So before we even, get into the nitty-gritty of these tools, like, why is this even a thing? Why is IAC scanning so important?
Okay, so think about it like building a skyscraper.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just start, building floors on top of floors without making sure that foundation is rock solid, right?
Right.
Same thing with your infrastructure. Scanning your IAC code, it's like having a whole team of structural engineers carefully examining your blueprints, like before a single brick is even laid.
Okay, yeah, that's a great analogy. But let's be real here for a sec. We're not all building these huge digital skyscrapers. So what about like smaller projects? Is this just for, the big players?
No, not at all. That's the beauty of these tools. They're valuable for anyone using Terraform, no matter the size of the project. Even a small misconfiguration, it can have a big impact on your security.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So it's like having a security safety net no matter what you're building.
Yeah, precisely. And research shows that a mind-blowing 2 billion with a B misconfigurations happen across these cloud environments, and a lot of times these stem from IAC issues. So that's a massive problem, and these tools can help us tackle it like head on.
Whoa, 2 billion. That's crazy. Okay, so we've established that IEC scanning is vital, it's important, but we have three contenders here. So let's quickly introduce them. First off, Checkov.
All right, so Checkov is kind of like the Swiss Army knife of IDC scanning.
Yeah.
Not only does it support Terraform, but it can also handle CloudFormation, Kubernetes. You got your Helm charts, Docker files, and even serverless functions.
Whoa, so it's very versatile.
Yeah, it's incredibly
So
versatile.
if you're working with like a mix of different technologies, Checkov has got you covered. What else makes it stand out?
Well, it has like a massive library. I'm talking over 3,700 built-in policies.
Oh, wow.
It gives you really comprehensive coverage for like a wide range of potential security risks. Plus, it offers this really cool visual dependency graph so you can actually see how all your resources connect and identify potential security weak points.
Oh, a visual dependency graph. That's interesting. I can see how that would be super helpful to really understand all the complex relationships, within your infrastructure.
Absolutely. And here's another thing. Checkov is actually the only one that we're looking at today that supports every single major cloud provider. Even some of the less common ones like Alibaba Cloud and Oracle Cloud.
Oh, wow.
So that's a game changer, especially for organizations that are operating in these multi-cloud environments.
Yeah, that's impressive. Okay, next we have tfsec. What's this one all about?
Okay, so if Checkov is the Swiss Army knife, tfsec is like the speed demon.
Okay.
Built specifically for Terraform, known for its super fast scans.
Speed is always a good thing, especially when you're, scanning large code bases, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially large code bases, yeah. And another thing that makes tfsec really developer friendly is its simple output. It just tells you exactly what the issue is and how to fix it, No need to be overwhelmed with all that technical jargon.
So it's like having a security expert who speaks plain English.
Exactly.
All right. Last but not least, we have Terrascan.
Okay, so Terrascan. This one is the master of customization. It lets you create your own custom policies using Rego, which is a really powerful query language developed by Open Policy Agent.
Okay, so for those of us who aren't Rego experts, what does that mean in plain English?
Basically, it means you have this fine-grained control over your security. You can like tailor the scans to your specific needs and any compliance requirements you might have.
Oh, okay. So it's like having a security tool that you can like mold to fit your exact organization. It's not like this one size fits all approach.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about flexibility and making sure that your security scans are perfectly aligned with your organization's, risk tolerance and specific security goals.
I like it. So we've got our three contenders here. Checkov, the multi-tool, tfsec, the speedster, and Terrascan, the customization king. Now, how do they actually stack up against each other in real-world scenarios?
That is a great question, and that's exactly what we're going to dig into next. We'll compare some key features, see how they actually perform in real-world tests, and explore those custom policy capabilities, which are very important.
Yeah, I'm excited to see these tools go head to head.
Okay, so let's actually put these tools to the test.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we'll start with a head-to-head comparison of some of their key features.
Okay, sounds good. So, what are we looking at here?
Okay, so I've put together this chart that compares them across like a bunch of different categories. You know, we've got the language they're written in, GitHub stars, the company that's backing them, the latest versions, and then of course the types of IAC frameworks that they actually support.
Mm-hmm.
We also dive into like the scan types, custom checks, and something that's really crucial, output readability.
Output readability, yeah.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen I've seen some pretty cryptic security reports out there, like trying to decipher a secret code.
Exactly. Yeah. But these tools, they've come a long way in terms of presenting those findings in a clear, actionable way. They offer a variety of formats like CLI, JSON, unit, even plain text.
Okay, okay. Options are always good.
Yeah, options are good. So one thing that really stands out on this chart is the language that each tool is actually written in.
Okay.
So Checkov is Python-based,
Mm-hmm.
while tfsec and Terrascan are both written in Go.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how that might impact their performance and how well they can integrate with other tools.
Yeah, that's a great question. Definitely something to think about, you know, depending on your specific needs and your tech stack.
For sure.
And speaking of integration, another important factor is how well these tools actually play with your CI/CD pipelines.
Yeah, yeah.
So all three, thankfully, offer integration options, which means you can automate those security scans throughout your entire development process.
Oh, that's awesome. So we're not just like manually running these scans every time we make a change.
Exactly, yeah. And for those who like to catch these vulnerabilities even earlier, all three tools have VS Code extensions, which is pretty amazing. You get that feedback right in your code editor.
Whoa, wait. VS Code extension. So these tools can actually like warn you about security issues as you are writing your Terraform code.
Exactly, yeah. It's like having a security expert pair programming with you.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, pointing out those potential issues like in real time.
Okay, so we've got the feature comparison down,
Yeah.
but how do these tools actually perform in the real world? Like, have you tested them out?
Yeah, so to answer that, I actually ran some tests using a set of sample Terraform files.
Okay.
And I wanted to see how many vulnerabilities each tool would actually flag
Mm-hmm.
and how they would categorize those vulnerabilities, you know, by severity level, from critical to low.
Oh, so it's like a security scanning showdown?
Exactly, yeah.
All right, so who came out on top?
Well, the results were actually pretty interesting. So in these particular tests, tfsec actually detected the most vulnerabilities.
Okay.
It flagged a total of 33,
Wow.
compared to Chekhov's 27 and Terrascan's 8.
Whoa. Okay. That's a pretty big difference.
Yeah.
So does that mean tfsec is the best, like more vulnerabilities detected, right?
Well, not necessarily. You know, it's important to remember that these are just tests, and the results can vary a lot depending on the specific code being scanned and the rules that each tool is using.
Right, right.
So, you know, it's not just about the number of vulnerabilities that are found, but also about, you know, understanding why they were flagged in the first place and how critical they actually are.
For sure. For sure.
Exactly. It's all about choosing the tool that aligns best with your specific needs and risk tolerance.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
And speaking of customization, let's talk about the ability to create your own custom policies.
Oh yeah, this is where things get really interesting. We briefly touched on this earlier, but can you dive a little deeper into that? Like, why would someone want to create custom policies?
Well, imagine you have specific security requirements that aren't covered by the built-in rules, right?
Mm.
Or maybe your organization has like a unique compliance standard that you need to adhere to.
Right.
So custom policies basically let you tailor the scans to those very specific needs.
Gotcha. So it's like adding this extra layer of security, that's fine-tuned for your specific environment.
Exactly. And each tool has its own kind of approach to creating these custom policies. So, Checkov, it uses Python, which is great if you're already, familiar with the language.
Yeah, Python is super popular, so I bet that's a plus for a lot of developers out there.
Oh, absolutely. And then you have tfsec, which uses YAML for its custom policies.
Okay.
YAML is known for its readability and ease of use. So that can be a good option for those who, prefer a more straightforward approach.
Okay, so we've got Python and YAML. What about Terrascan?
So Terrascan leverages Rego,
Okay.
which is that powerful query language that we talked about before, developed by Open Policy Agent. It's a bit more complex, but it's also a lot more flexible, allowing you to create some really, really sophisticated policies.
Okay, so if you need like that extra level of granularity and control, Rego might be the way to go.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's worth mentioning that all three tools, they provide really excellent documentation and examples for creating custom policies.
Oh,
So even if you're new to the process, you can get up and running pretty quickly.
that's good. That's good. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We looked at the features, the test results, and even those custom policy capabilities. But at the end of the day, how do we choose the right security champion for our needs?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question. If you're working with multiple IAC types, not just Terraform, Checkov might be your winner because of its broad support.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What about for those who prioritize speed and simplicity?
Yeah, that's definitely important.
tfsec could be the way to go with its fast scans and that developer-friendly output.
Right.
And for those who really want that deep customization,
Yeah.
Terrascan might be your jam, especially if you're comfortable with Rego.
All right. So it really comes down to your specific needs and preferences.
Exactly.
There's no one perfect tool for every situation, but I think we can all agree that using any of these tools is a huge step forward in securing our Terraform code.
Oh, absolutely. It's about making informed decisions and adopting those tools that really align with your organization's security goals.
So are you ready to take your Terraform security to the next level? I
Yeah.
challenge you to go out there and explore one of these tools. You'd be amazed at what you find and how much safer your infrastructure becomes.
Happy scanning.
Happy scanning.
But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with something to ponder.
Okay.
We've talked about security scanning, but what about the human element? How can we encourage developers to write secure Terraform code, from the very start? Something to think about.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Security is not just about the tools. It's about building that culture of security awareness, within our teams. That's a really good point about that human element. We can have all the best tools, but if the developers aren't writing secure code, right from the start, we're still going to run into problems.
Yeah, exactly. Security really needs to be baked into that whole development process, not just tacked on at the end.
Yeah.
But even with the best intentions, everyone makes mistakes. That's why we need to think about security beyond just scanning the code.
Okay, so what else is there? What happens after we've actually deployed our infrastructure?
Well, that's where runtime security comes in. It's like having a security system for your house, even after you've locked all the doors and windows.
So like those motion sensors and security cameras that let you know if anything sketchy is happening.
Exactly. Runtime security tools can detect all sorts of things, like those unauthorized access attempts, configuration drifts, even malicious activity happening inside your cloud environment.
Okay, that makes sense. But what kind of tools are we talking about here? Are these separate from the IAC scanning tools that we've been discussing?
Yeah, they are separate. So IAC scanning is focused on catching those vulnerabilities in your code, right? Runtime security, on the other hand, focuses on what's going on in your live environment.
Okay.
So your cloud providers, they usually offer various services for this. AWS has CloudTrail, Azure has Security Center, and GCP has cloud logging.
Gotcha. So it's about keeping an eye on what's happening in real time.
Exactly. These tools, they give you that visibility into your cloud accounts, allowing you to see those anomalies and potential security breaches.
Yeah.
But visibility is only the first step. You also need a way to respond to those security events, if something does happen.
Right. So what happens if one of these tools actually detects something?